Welcome to Emery on the Move. Darnell Radford here with my trusty travel producer, Woodsy. We are here in Edinburgh, Scotland for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. I can't wait to dig into this crazy thick Fringe guidebook featuring over 3,800 productions and events. Stay with us here on Rep Radio and on Broad Street Review podcast. For August, it's all Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Did you know that artists come from around the world and even our hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to entertain, engage, and inspire cultural enthusiasts from all over the globe? I'm going to catch up with a few performers and attendees that made it over the pond. Maybe you'll recognize a few voices along the way. So ride with us. Emery is on the move. On today's podcast, Nina Chhibber Williams talks about the production Om Shaadi Om, an unfinished journey to matrimony, with a little help from Mom, part of a collection of artists from New York City. Here's my interview with Nina Chhibber Williams. This is Rep Radio. It's our Edinburgh Fringe coverage. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and we are still here at Fringe Central, and I'm chatting with Nina Chhibber Williams, whose production Om Shaadi Om was just on stage at Greenside at Infirmary Street.
In the Mint Studio.
Which is also where Untitled Project number 213, when our Philly homegrown, is there as well.
That's you guys?
Yes.
Oh, well
that's
it's in Philly.
Philadelphia, yeah.
It's on my list. I want to see it.
Yeah.
Did you see it already?
I saw it in Philadelphia. I will see it here again. My partner is in it, and they're all my friends.
Oh my gosh, so fun. I will definitely go support.
Yeah. So, welcome to Rep Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I really enjoyed your piece. It was so much fun, and I love the audience participation of it. And, it's a little bit challenging to command a room as a solo artist, especially when you don't have the comforts of maybe your hometown.
Yes.
Or you can't, it's not likely that you're going to have 5 or 6 of your friends that pad in the house a little bit. Everyone here needs to be sold.
Yes.
In a sense. So, but I think you did a really great job on that.
Thank you so much. I had some practice because I have done the show in New York on and off for the past couple years, and before I came to Edinburgh Fringe, I was invited to do it at the Phoenicia Fringe Festival. It was their first Fringe Festival, and Phoenicia is a very tiny town in the Catskills in upstate New York.
Okay.
So you have a lot of transplants from the city, a lot of weekenders, and then people from upstate New York that go to that live in that area. And that was a huge lesson. That I was a big room, about 80 people. And they went all the way to the back, and it was a big house to play to. And I didn't have that many friends in the audience.
Yeah.
That was a very big lesson that, energy has to come from within. I think they're on my side. I make eye contact with people. People in Edinburgh, luckily in this venue, have been so generous with their smiles and their attention, which means a lot. But I think in Phoenicia, it was my first kind of jolt that, you're not doing it just for a bunch of your friends and comedians anymore.
Yeah.
These are people who have no idea who you are.
We're not just playing to the back of the house. We're playing to all of the world.
Yes,
the entire world.
Exactly. So, but I love the studio that I'm in, and I've also never done it. It's sort of, that with the audience on two sides. So there was a bit of a learning experience, and you have about 90 minutes to tech your show. And then the first shows that you do, you're sort of what can I do in the very beginning? I added some lines in the beginning about Om and a yoga class and picking your wedgie. I kind of added that joke way in the beginning, because right away I want the audience to know it's this kind of funny show, please laugh with me, it's okay to feel joy here.
It feels in a way it feels like a keynote in that sense. That's your icebreaker.
Exactly.
Now that you've made them chuckle a little bit, it's now we're going to get into it.
Exactly. I want everyone to be on my side.
So tell us about Om Shaadi Om.
Sure. So Om Shaadi Om is my unfinished multicultural adventure to matrimony. So the title, if you're Indian, it's very punny, but if you don't speak Hindi, you're like, what is the show called? So Hindus pray Om Shanti Om when we wish for universal peace, and Shaadi is our word for a wedding. So the kind of subtext of my show is, without a wedding, there is no peace. And the show is about when old world Indian expectations are put on a young, modern, biracial woman, particularly around marriage, and also learning what happens when your mom starts a dating profile for you.
I will say, I mean, we saw at the end, okay, Mom.
Right?
You just think it was going to be embarrassing and just over the top and kind of like she's trying to put her child in the best light, but really it was like, oh, I think Mom might know me.
Of course, like, I struggled with this. I thought it was going to be so eye-rolly, and before I had ever seen the profile that she made for me, I had only had experiences where she would like send me guys messages, that email that she accidentally forwarded me where the subject line was that my nose looked so big in photographs. That's all that I had to go on, and for years, and she would insist on doing this, and then I actually saw the profile and I was like, it's not awful, especially compared to the other profiles that other parents are putting out there for their kids.
Yeah. Did she ever tell you why she was so, in your camp for this? Like, is she trying to, make sure that you receive something that she wasn't able to receive, or
I think
is it just a doting mother?
Yeah, I think my sister got married, and my sister will be the first person to tell you she did everything the right way. She got married when she was a bit younger, not that young, she was in her mid-20s, which makes sense, and we're from a small town in America, plus we have a traditional Indian culture, so putting that together, it is more uncommon to be 30 and not married. My friends from home, I'm one of the few that's not married yet, and I think my mom, as I was getting older, was sort of feeling that panic. But I also was for myself, and I think she was just like insisting on getting in my lane, but ultimately like we both want the same thing. Yeah. So I think it came out of a mother's love, and I think her giving herself this duty, this like sense of purpose, like, well, this is my thing. And I've sort of talked to my mom before and said, your purpose in life can't be me. Like it can't be so directly related to what I'm doing. Through my 20s, I had a bad breakup, and then I was in grad school, and I was going through some career changes, and I had a lot going on. I've lived in New York for 10 years, and I didn't ever see myself being in New York permanently. So there was just a lot that I was wrestling with, and I just, on top of that, my mom was inserting herself into to her, the biggest aspect of my life, the biggest unknown is unwed daughter. What if she can't start a family? She should have frozen her eggs, in her 10 years ago. We would have only known. But
it is interesting now. It's 2019, and it does seem like all those rules have changed with a little bit of resistance. There's a focus on a career or the career that you've chosen. Like, we're artists.
Yes.
It's really hard to have a structure if you're going to jump at the opportunities that come your way.
It is.
So having that balance is a little bit, you take some of those things that you would have wanted to do by 30, maybe, but you push them back a little bit.
Exactly.
They're not. So do you encourage your mom that this isn't a no-go for me. This is a not right now for me.
That's exactly what I've needed to say, and exactly those words. I think she sort of started to understand, and later on, through my later 20s, she sort of asked me, do you even want to get married? Like, do you want kids? And I said, yes, I do. Like, yes, I want these same things for myself. And it is true, I have a lot of females, friends in the arts and performers and writers and actors, and a lot of people now, being an actor in your early 20s is footloose and fancy free, and it's fun, and they've dedicated themselves to it. But I think the conversation now that I've been hearing a lot is women sort of being like, I want to start a family and I want to do this, but I don't know, like, physically sacrificing your body and having kids is a lot to consider for an actor.
Especially a New York actor, because one of the prerequisites, besides always practicing your craft, is to marry rich. It's like this, if you get some feedback from an insider in New York. My friend is a longtime Broadway producer, and I asked him for one of his books he wrote. I was like, "What is the feedback you would give? What is the advice you would give to somebody trying to make their way over to New York?" He says, "Marry rich."
Oh, brother!
Because you have to have this financial footing that allows you to take the chances that may not reap a financial reward.
Very, very true.
So, like here, the artist doing a show in Free Fringe.
Yep.
They're taking a leap here, but they need some sort of support in order to do this, because this will be fruitful for them, once they go on to the next thing. It's like, now we've got this international production under our belt, and we were there for a good amount of time. We got some response, got some feedback, and made a little bit of cash.
Yeah.
Hopefully, mostly, likely.
Yeah.
And then you're on to your next thing. There's something about being here that just feels sort of empowering, like when you walk away. Is this your first year at Fringe?
This is my first year at Fringe, and it has been quite a learning experience. So when I've done the show in New York, I've done it at the People's Improv Theater a lot, the Pit, which is where I took a lot of comedy classes, and that's sort of like my comedic home in New York. I know the stages, I know the teams, I know the people, and it is just much easier to produce stuff there. And this is like, my show is a solo show, and solo in every sense of the word. I have worked with a few wonderful directors when I was in New York, but nobody, consistently enough. And I don't have a PR team, and I don't have like a tech over here. I don't have anything. So even I was filling out the registration process for Fringe was a huge learning experience. Worrying about like venue insurance I had to buy, music licenses, and going through all of this and writing different descriptions for the show, and catchy, the right kind of language for all of their press materials.
Yeah.
And then remembering like, oh my God, I need to work on this show. I need to perform this show. I need to make sure it's good now.
It's like, I got to take off this producer hat for a minute and get into rehearsal.
It has been a crash course lesson in producing.
Yeah.
And I would probably, if I come back to Fringe, do some things a different way. Like I would maybe look into more like a PR person.
Yeah.
And just, you need another hand.
This has been the consensus. I am all in favor of, at least as far as the Philadelphians are concerned, if they rally together and realize that they're all going to the same place and employ the same marketing and publicity people to push all of these shows.
New York definitely could have done that. There's a lot of New Yorkers here.
Yeah.
But luckily, the New York community, and I guess like even the U.S. community, there just happen to be a lot from New York that I've met. Everyone's been really supportive about seeing each other's shows, getting together, like spreading the word. I had a bunch of people from one show come yesterday, and it was a quieter house, and I was so thankful for their fun laughs. Their show's called Hitler's Tasters. It's supposed to be phenomenal. It's already selling out, so
Hitler's
Tasters.
It's on my list.
Yes, I'm gonna try to see it soon. So it is nice here that I am like a one-woman show, one-woman production, but my two roommates that I'm staying with are also doing solo shows here, and we've just been finding like friends and a community and that support group to be like, what am I doing? But even though you're here alone, you're never that alone.
Yeah.
Everyone's so nice.
Yeah. And we have to, parents out there listening, you have to get over hearing your children tell you that they want to be artists full time. Like, this is a true profession, and if it has the right support, they will succeed.
Yeah, I have to give you a big caveat here. So here's my dark and dirty secret, is I'm not a performer full time. So I started taking comedy classes.
Tell me about your day job.
I took comedy classes at the Pit on nights and weekends, but by day I work in fundraising and nonprofit development. So and my master's is in nonprofit management and international relations. So part of it was as I was getting older. I mean, in college, even in high school, like I was not that good in theater. I was fine. I was never get the leads in anything except like one show in high school. And in college, I was lucky to be cast in a lot of shows. But when I came to New York, I realized I was completely out of my league and that I had strength in other areas.
Yeah.
So that's what I started working in the nonprofit world, which I also really, really love and appreciate. And then I started doing more improv and comedy. I was like, oh, these are my people. But again, the only way I could get consistently cast in anything is if I wrote it myself. So that's how this show came about.
There's pluses to that, but at the same time, now you're putting on multiple hats.
Too true. I mean, how many times I've worked, my 9 to 5, which is not just a moneymaker. It gets my career, and I've had good career successes. This place is bumping now with that music.
I know. If you're hearing the music just slowly rising, Friends Central is jumping right now.
It is packed.
There's a bunch of things going on. There's copies being made. There's last minute changes being made. There's just a lot of networking.
Most importantly, free Wi-Fi.
And free Wi-Fi, which is why we're here. Because we can edit and bang this episode out very quickly.
But yeah, I've had so many, for the past 10 years that I've been in New York, where it's, I have my job during the day, starting from 9 or 8 if I have a meeting, and then at 5 or 6, and then maybe going home, maybe not. Putting on makeup at my desk and going out and doing shows or performing or learning lines till 10 or 11 at night, coming home and then starting all over again. So it is exhausting, but I think that experience of putting on many different hats in my life definitely helped here. Just kind of get used to the pace of things, because I'm out flyering before my own show in my costume, running up, giving my tech the computer, setting up my stage, running back right before you guys come in, and then as soon as you leave, cleaning up all my crap, running around. And
arts administration is a skill that every artist should have.
Man, I'll tell you what, and stage manager skills, we need more accredited stage managers.
And we need to give more credit to the hardworking stage managers that are already out there. If you ever think you can't be in the art, you don't like being on stage, but you're an organized person, please be a stage manager. Yes. So your piece talks about dating and online profiles, and can you tell us about tell us about the worst online dating experience you've had?
Oh dear. There's one that it would have been too convoluted to sort of put in the show. Well, there's a couple. I guess this is true with any online dating, but here's where it gets a little messy when your mom is the go-between. So my mom had sent me a profile of some guy, and he looked nice, handsome, great on paper. He'd been in the States for a while, but born in India. But I at least knew by being in the States for a while, it's like, okay, he's okay with the girls, quote unquote American, as I am. And we agreed to meet for coffee. I was performing in a Saturday show every Saturday at 6:30, and every Saturday at 5:15 I would have a coffee date by there. So I could just bang it out. So we met for coffee one day. I didn't realize...
Because they are job interviews.
Exactly. And I needed contained. I had an out at a certain time. It was an hour max because I had to go to the theater and do a show, and I had an excuse.
Which is justified as an artist. I just want you to know I have a heart out.
Yeah, exactly. An afternoon coffee date, no chance we're getting dinner. I know I don't want to get drinks with you. Coffee and we out. Plus, I filled up that punch card so much in the coffee place.
You're like, this one's on me.
This one's on me. Punch it twice. So I met this guy, and he was really nice. A stand-up guy and a sweet dude, but I just didn't feel chemistry. And that happens with everybody, where you're like, oh, this is a nice guy. No chemistry there. Wish him all the best. Mm-hmm. Except he just wouldn't take no for an answer. I didn't realize at this point that he didn't live in New York. He was living in D.C. and would just came up for the day because he was so in love with my profile and had talked to my mom as the go-between. And he was sort of saying to her, I need to meet your daughter. I just feel like she's the one, which sounds a little ridiculous, and I think that it is.
Yeah.
So we had coffee date, and I was sort of like, yeah, nice. Too bad, so sad. I'm so sorry. And then he asked again and again if he could come up, and I think we might have gone on a second coffee date, or got dinner or drinks or something. And again, I was nice guy, no chemistry. But he would text very often, and sometimes and then I sort of said, like, you're such a nice guy, I wish you all the best, I'm so, like, just, I don't feel anything here. And he just refused to take no for an answer and would send huge things. And I think that difference is arranged marriage culture is sort of, we come from it, like, you learn to love.
Yeah.
You learn to love somebody. And I think he still had that point of view where he said, you know, we're a great match, it makes sense, we get along well enough. And he then proceeded to call my mom a ton and tell my mom, like, why isn't she going out with me? And my mom would call me and say, well, you know, he's really, really into you. And I'd be like, Mom, whose side are you
another
on?
chance?
She was, and that has happened a few times where people have gotten in touch with her, and she's just has such a big heart, and she would just take it upon herself to make sure that these dudes, you know, well-being was her responsibility, and that it was my fault for making them upset. I was like, whose side are you on, lady? That's happened a few times, and there was he would message different times, and I think that he would Google me once in a while and, like, see what was going on. But for 2 or 3 years, he would just send huge texts every once in a while, like on every holiday, every Christmas, like everything.
Yeah.
That was a little intense.
Yeah.
It took him a couple years, but he got the message. But it's tough because everyone, I don't know, everyone wants to settle down and everyone wants to start the next phase of their lives. And I think the big miscommunication is that Indians sort of say, like, okay, good enough on paper, this will work out, like, done.
Yeah.
We'll learn to love. I don't think that's good enough for me.
But now we factor in so many things. Like, there was a time where you weren't quite clear, you know, let's say you're a traditional wife, homemaker, and your husband goes off to work. You don't necessarily know all the intricate details of his job, and you don't really care because he, you know, brings home the bacon or the funding, brings home the money. So, and you don't really think about it. But now we're actually very concerned. Where do you work? Oh, I don't agree with their values. Or,
that's true.
You know, politics of the day. It's like, no. You're cute and funny, and all these other things are going for you, but these things I don't think we could ever get past.
It's very true, I think, now, and I also think maybe that's part of the dating culture in New York, is like, I need to make sure not only do I like you, I have to like your morals and your ethics and you know, this.
You seem too good to be true, so I'm gonna need to hang out with a few of your friends now.
Exactly.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly. Also, traveling with somebody. I found that you don't know somebody until you travel with them.
Yes.
That's when their true personalities come out.
Mm-hmm. My partner and I traveled separately. We just happened to be here because he's in the show. Right. I was coming here anyway, so I told him the other day, I was like, we're not actually here together. We just happen to be here together. And if we look at it that way, it's probably it'll be much easier for us to find the time.
That's very smart. Are you guys staying in the same place?
No.
Wow.
Not. And that's definitely hard because we haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, oh no.
He's been working all over for a month. You'll be on the podcast.
I'm excited to see his show.
Yeah.
That's so funny because, like, meet up, like, I don't know if I can schedule you. I don't know if I can fit you into my friend's schedule.
I know. I was just like, let me wrap this interview up and then I'll find you. Find you. But there's a lot of time in between. The good thing about these productions is they're 1 hour. So if you just say, my headspace before my production is all about me.
Correct.
And getting myself ready for my show. And then after that, that's the time I can relax, maybe go have a drink, go see another show, catch up with friends.
Yeah.
So there is a balance unless you are wearing multiple hats. And you're in, like, several shows. There are a lot of people in
like me.
Yes.
Like a true crazy person, I not only have brought my show here, but I'm playing in a bunch of shows with Comedy Sports. It's a short form comedy group that is international. So there's a bunch of people
from
Manchester.
Philadelphia location.
That's right. I don't think anyone from Philly's here.
I don't think so.
So I play with Comedy Sports New York, and I love them. They're so much fun. And Comedy Sports Manchester has booked like a spot here, and there's a few other like Quad Cities and like the Midwest is a few people are sent over. So I have a Comedy Sports show today at 4:30, and that is just I've had a few 3-show days, and I had one last night, but you can't tell because of my smoke and mirror. There's so much under eye concealer on, you wouldn't possibly be able to tell. So the Comedy Sports is at 4:30, and that is the complete opposite of my show, where it's just competitive short form improv, and we do it it's booked as a children's show here, so it's just packed with like the cutest kids, and it's high energy and nuts. And then at 11 p.m. I'm playing in a long form improv show called Crime of the Hour, which is a gal reads true crime stories, and then we improvise based off of that.
Crime of the Hour?
Crime of the Hour.
Crime of the Hour and Comedy Sports.
Yes. So it's by the end of one day, I've already forgotten that I've done my show. Do you know what I mean? So it's in a way, it's good. If I have a bad one, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. I feel like I've got some palate cleansers to just like shake it off, get my head to do something different. Because when you're doing improv, you can't be thinking about anything else. You have to be as totally present as possible.
Is it easier because the other two are improvisational, whereas like it's not like you're learning 3 separate scripts?
I don't think I'd be able to learn 3 separate scripts. Like, part of the reason I like doing my own storytelling show is I can change the lines anytime I want, and half the time I do because I forget what I wrote. It's also where like an improv,
you can still flow it through.
Yeah.
And you're the writer and the director, so you're fine with it.
And no one's gonna know except for me and maybe my tech. If she's like, what on earth is this?
You're like, I wrote myself some terrible notes for last night. Exactly. So what have you found to be unique about Edinburgh Festival Fringe that was different from previous performances?
There is something for everyone here, and it is completely overwhelming. There's over 3,000 shows, and if you
and that's not run times, that's shows.
Correct.
Yeah, like, it's mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing, and there's just so much you want to see and so much you want to do, and I have to say, I think word of mouth is such a strong thing, because it's overwhelming. There's a huge Fringe guide that's like a Bible of every show here, and that's only the paid shows. That's not free Fringe. And that's not the street performers, which are their own part of like the Fringe Festival too. And then each venue has a guide. It is completely overwhelming, and sometimes it's easy to just like walk in and be like, I have 1 hour. What should I see right now?
Yeah, and the next 3 people to hand me a flyer, I'm going to consider these.
Yeah, and I have to say, it feels overwhelming also. Fringe Central and the organization and the Fringe Society put together so many resources. But again, when you're a one-person production, it's so hard to, I want to run to the Meet the Media event, and I need to want to meet people and start pitching my shows and reach out to reviewers. But I need to go do my show, and then I need to run and do something afterwards and forget putting food in your face. But the Fringe staff, they're remarkably friendly. These are the most patient group of people that I've ever seen. They're all lovely. And the venue staff.
Kudos, snaps to Fringe Central and the Edinburgh Fringe Society.
True. We had a Meet the Media event, and it was, you stand in line for a long time, and outside, it happened to be a nice, gorgeous day for it. They were coming through with water, lemonade, and juices, just to make sure everyone was hydrated. Yeah. Just to make sure we were okay. I think they understand that this is a gritty, tough, boots on the ground business, and a lot of people don't have 5 figures that they're pouring into their production costs so they can hire big teams of people. That every little bit helps, every smile helps, everyone checking in with each other, artist to artist, and being like, I've got your back, it's okay, you can do this.
Yes,
it is really nice.
So talk a little bit about self-care. When you're not in one of the 3 pieces that you're in, how do you get back to your center?
I feel very fortunate that the 2 roommates I'm staying with, David Carl, who does Trump Lear, very funny, and Amanda Nicastro does a show called I'm Just Kidneying, about she donated a kidney to her sister. So the 3 of us, before we came to the apartment, David sort of started this conversation because he's a Fringe veteran. We laid out everything. Are you no dishes in the sink at any time? When do you shower? How do you want the apartment to be? Because it does get crazy these first few days. And I think by having those conversations way in advance, we sort of knew where we were, so we could jump right in like we were living together for months.
Yeah.
And that has been very helpful because your home, your room needs to be your safe space. So right away when I got here, I unpacked. Everything had its space, and I went to the grocery store. I didn't want to mess with it. I brought a yoga mat, a lacrosse ball, like enough throat stuff, and medicine. And in the morning, I try to make sure I'm sleeping enough, chug a full bottle of water, stretch out, answer some emails, but don't get too crazy. And then it's all about, I think, just water.
Yeah.
Not being afraid to be like, I don't need to get a drink tonight. I'm gonna go and relax in the apartment. We can get Netflix here, and I started RuPaul's Drag Race. I've never watched it, and that's a perfect 20 minutes if I need to turn my brain off at the end of the day. But
You're just watching Drag Race. You're not watching Untucked.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like the after show.
Oh shit!
It plays in between. It's like after the runway portion, they have a separate.
Untucked.
It's like an extra 30 minutes where they untuck backstage.
Oh shit! I've not been watching that. But I think, and there has been a lot more emphasis on self-care at the Fringe because people are doing 30 days in a row of your show, and you might be doing it to 1 or 2 or 3 people, and it can take a huge toll on your mental well-being. So I feel like the conversation has started a lot more over the past couple years, and Fringe Central has some events that are like networking, check-in, how are you, sort of things. So I've been definitely trying to sleep a lot, drink a lot of water, put good food in my body, not going out and grabbing beer and pizza every day, although that's absolutely what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
This is my second day here this time, so I have not really had a system of self-care yet.
You gotta get one.
Last night was the first night I got a good night's sleep, and I don't think it was a good night's sleep because I'm just excited to be here. I got enough sleep. Like I definitely woke up on my own. But it's still not. If I was at home, it'd be 11:15ish and falling asleep on the couch. And I gotta drag myself upstairs to bed, and I wake up at 6:30. To start that day.
I think a few of us brought melatonin, so even to get over jet lag faster is like that. The first night I was here, I knocked out at 9 or 10 because I just was like, I need to get as much sleep as I can.
I've got multivitamins, which I didn't bring last time. I just thought I was like, just a little bit extra.
Oh, yep.
I got like a water bottle I can easily sort of tuck away when I'm not using it. It's good. I got a bunch of snacks, a lot of chocolate.
What's your favorite chocolate?
So there's a I don't know if they're in New York. There's this a supermarket. It's kind of competing with like Whole Foods called Sprouts.
No.
Yeah, they just came up in Philly area, but I know that's not where they originated. But they have this whole section of. I'm like, are you sure all this is healthy? There's a lot of chocolate in this aisle, but it's called like TCHO. I don't know how to say cho or something.
Sure.
But
Sounds yummy.
they have this chocolate bar. It's banana nut.
Ooh.
And I have this weird relationship with bananas. Like, I can't eat a whole banana, but I can eat things with bananas in it. My partner's listening. He's going to be like, explain this.
Can you eat banana flavored things? Like, to me, really? Banana flavoring to me is the least authentic. Like, Runts.
It is.
Banana flavor? Yeah. Absolutely not.
Any strawberry banana candy is not real.
No.
No. Yeah, it's something to do with the consistency. Like, some vegetables are like that too. So I have those. There's another one that's like dark chocolate and cherries.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Next time I see you on the street and I'm hungry, I'm going to ask for a snack.
I'm going to be like, I brought it. It's right here.
A snack?
Here, I got the remedy. Like there's a scene in one of the Harry Potter films where Harry Potter passes out and
when he gets the chocolate because of the Dementors.
The teacher gives him the chocolate.
I'm very familiar.
He's like, here, this will help. What
Professor
is it?
Lupin on the train.
Yes.
The first time we meet the Dementors.
Oh, that's right.
3,
That was
Prisoner of
Azkaban. That is my favorite episode.
That's your favorite book?
That's my favorite book. I like the way the story turns around and kind of goes, we see it from one viewpoint and then we see it again from another viewpoint. Mm-hmm. And I love when stories do that. And I also love when a series starts kind of like at what appears to be an end point, and then we play catch up. Because then when we get there, now we can begin.
Yeah.
It's sort of like I'm trying to introduce a pilot by showing you the results.
Yes.
Here's the results, but let me show you how we got
there.
Yeah. So I do like that.
Okay.
And and his Patronus was pretty cool. And
breaks my heart.
Yeah. Not that we came to talk about Harry Potter, but it's justified because we are in Edinburgh.
Exactly.
And there are quite a few destinations here that were inspired by Harry Potter.
Are you going to go to the Elephant Cafe where J.K. Rowling rumoredly wrote a lot of Harry Potter?
I walked past it quite a few times in Potter Row and Victoria Street. And, I haven't gone inside yet because there's always a crowd there.
So here's a pro tip. 'Cause I was in Scotland a couple years ago. I came here on like an Eat, Pray, Love trip. I wasn't here for Fringe, just for a visit. And I went to the Elephant Cafe, skipped the lines entirely, and I just went to the bathroom. The bathroom is, because the rest of it just looks like a cafe. Uh-huh. The bathroom is covered in the coolest Harry Potter graffiti. So you just got to go.
Inside track,
inside
people.
Trade. Yeah, I skipped the line. And I just went to the bathroom.
Yeah, just taking selfies.
I certainly did. It was really cool. And then I did go to the bathroom and then I left.
You just walk out to one of your staff, lighting in the bathroom.
Phenomenal.
Perfect.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have a separate designer for the lighting in the bathroom? Or just... I'm sorry, I'm just asking.
I love you, John.
What makes this... what in your... You kind of touched on a couple of these things, but what would make this experience easier for artists like you?
Easier for artists like me. Having a bit of a team, I think, would help. Yeah. Having a PR person and even hiring somebody here to flyer for your show, so you don't feel that pressure to be like, I have 2 hours, I want to sit on my butt because I just did a show and I want to just take a second, but I need to go flyer to get the word out because our ticket sales are low for tomorrow. Yeah. That would be a big piece of advice. And I think if you're here with a show that you're trying to get booked, you want bookers to come, you want to tour it, you want to get reviewers to come, I think having a PR group is helpful for that. And I think making sure, I don't want to say I brought my show here prematurely, but if I do it again, I maybe would be like, I need to spend way more time with the director. I need to spend this. Like, Fringe should not be your start. Yeah. People come here with a perfect piece of theater that they're looking to see, like, all right, hello world, like, we are here. Yeah. We need reviews. We need, to book this.
And they come back with the same production too.
Yes, that's it. My roommate David Carl has done Trump Lear here a couple times.
And it's not old, it feels fresh, and if you saw it and you liked it, you'll come back and, I really enjoyed that one, because I'm here with somebody else, or I just met somebody, you gotta come see this one, see this.
Or like, I didn't get a chance to see this last year, so happy he's here again.
Always introduce an audience to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's been a lot of words of advice, and you can, even if you don't have a team, and it's a lot to think about spending the money on a team to be here, you can do a lot more than you think. You are so capable. Even if you're like, I've never written any kind of press release before. Anything's on the internet. There are so many resources here too, like months and months. There's these Facebook groups of all these artist performers. What do I do? People are so willing to help out. And if you just try it and you can do so much more than you think that you can. Put on those different hats. They all look great on you, I swear.
Yes. So what's the future of Shaadi Om? What happens after Fringe?
Very good question. I mean, unless anybody here wants to book it or give me a TV show, please let me know. I will.
Nothing too fancy.
Nothing too
nice little
fancy.
TV show.
Just
Be
a TV
nice.
show.
Full-on production team.
I'm also trying to be realistic about the amount of work that I'm putting into that PR side because I just don't have the time or the energy.
Yeah.
I would love to continue conversations, and I think after the show, I'm moving to Chicago. So I'm moving after Edinburgh. I think I might
Thanks, Big Apple.
Thanks, Big Apple.
Next.
It's been 10 good years. Time to move on.
Thank you, next.
I need to, before I do it in Chicago, before I start doing it again in the next phase, I think I need to take a break from hearing my own voice. I'm so tired of listening to myself talk. Oh, brother. But we'll see. I don't exactly know, I guess is the answer. I would love to keep doing it. I think as long as there's an audience that can say yes to the themes and they like the show and they laugh with me and they think and reflect with me, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I'll need to figure out what's next. But I think after Fringe, I'll have to take a break from.
How do you think you would look upon this piece when you get married?
I wrote the show about 3 years ago, the first iteration of it, when I was in a different place. And I've changed since then, so I have to kind of remember I'm performing the show as the character of Nina from 3 years ago. I think it will still be honest. I think it's a time capsule of where I was emotionally and my relationship with my mom a couple years ago. And I think I will look back at the show fondly because I tried to do an honest piece with universal themes, a very personal show. And I'll always look back on Fringe and if there's ever a time I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do all of this. I did. And I did it here. And I can do it again. This has been a big lesson that I can and you can just do a lot more than you think.
Yeah. So how can we follow you on social channels? How do we continue this journey with you?
Oh, please follow along. I got a Twitter for Fringe. Everyone says Twitter's the big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Shaadi Om, SOMSHAADIOM. No spaces or anything. And I've been trying to post and tweet and talk about other shows that I've seen because there's so much good stuff here. Cool. So follow along. Tell me your dating horror stories. Tell me your mom's horror stories. And I'm here to vent. I get it. I'll listen.
We're in this together.
We're in it together.
And what does the line you say? And it's something about and if we all go through this together, I will have great. You say something about like if we are all on this journey with you, then you will have a better experience. Exactly.
Let's all be part of each other's journeys.
Yes. Let's all be part of of each other's journeys.
Exactly.
This production is Om Shaadi Om, and if you look that up on Twitter and Instagram, you will find it. This production comes all the way from New York City.
It does.
Not too far from us in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Tell me the other two, Comedy Sports and
Crime of the Hour.
Mm-hmm. So those are also in the Fringe lineup.
Yes.
If you are here and you're listening, you can add those to your lineup as well.
Please do.
All right.
Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Nina Chhibber Williams, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, this is awesome. Get some rest, take your vitamins.
Yes.
Rep Radio continues to be inspired by our community and listeners like you. We are proud to be an Emory production. Visit us online at em3ry.com. Ride with us. Emory is on the move.